like a lot of graduates, I started my graduate role in September rather than straight away. So I had the summer to kind of relax, do some things that wouldn't be able to do once I started working life. Uh, so I went into, like you said, a trainee role, which means for the first 2.5 months of my job, I was being trained in this special piece of software called SaaS. The business model of my company is to train up consultants that specialize in SaaS and then hire them out as as consultants to their clients. So after the first 2.5 months, I was then shipped off to client site, and I've been working there ever since. So for the probably for the first couple of months that I was on client site, there was a lot of shadowing roles. So I was basically getting up to speed on all the different softwares that could be used. But then once I got to grips with it and started working on my own projects, then it was a mixture of meeting clients, talking to them about what they wanted, and then yeah, going back to the technical side and actually putting everything together. And then you had a lot of review meetings, making sure the client was happy. My role involves just at the moment just trying to get a lot of experience and trying to solve a lot of problems essentially, um, and just trying to figure out a way to do anything and everything for the client to keep them happy. It's difficult to pinpoint when exactly I wanted to go into like uh, data science. When I started physics, the reason I did it was because every lecturer at every university open day said if you get a physics degree, you can do any job because it comes with a lot of skills that employers want. So I thought, yeah, at the moment, I'm not particularly passionate about any job. I don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer. So I decided to do physics and then I'll figure out afterwards. And going through the degree, I started to like lose my passion for physics. I mean, I still enjoy it, but I wouldn't want to go into research or do a PhD or anything. So I thought I need to start thinking about what I enjoy and also what I'm good at and what sort of skills I've developed. Yes, so in physics, you learn how to solve any problem by taking the initial information you have, uh, following the procedures, and a little bit of thinking. Usually, you have to know a little trick, and then you'll get the answer. So being able to do that, and obviously being able to work with a lot of data because we've done a lot of lab work. So I thought, yeah, data analytics is the best role for me. So I started looking at jobs there. I did consider it in my final year. I'd say I started applying not from September, but definitely in the autumn of my final year. I feel like you have to do a certain amount of work, and the more work you do, the more likely you are to get a job. So spreading that out throughout the year rather than leaving it all to one period works better. I started around October, November, just like putting in the odd application online or doing the odd, um, was it situational judgment test, and then getting to a few interviews, and then whenever the workload picked up at uni, I would stop, and then when I had a bit of quiet time, I'd start again. And then I actually got my job in May of last year was when I got hired. No, I think it's quite difficult, especially when you're at university, because there's no set time frame for you to get the job done. Like you have to do it in your own time. Like I go to work and I finish at 5 o'clock, half five, and then that's the work done for the day. Whereas university, you're sat there in the evening thinking, "Oh, should I be revising more for this or revising more for that?" So I think it's just getting a good understanding of where you're at with your studies and if you've done enough work to get by and if you have any upcoming assignments. So for example, in December through to January, I didn't apply for any jobs because I had to finalize master's project work and I also had to revise for my exams. So that was a bad time. Whereas at the start of January, at the start of February, sorry, when you go into semester two and you have a lot of introductory lectures to your new courses, I think that's a good time to do a bit of job search because you can kind of skim through the introduction and focus more on doing the online work because it does take up a lot of time searching for a job, unfortunately. But it's just all about like basically fitting it in around your studies. It has been quite an eye-opening experience being in the working world because, for one thing, you'll never know if you'll truly love a job. Unless, like I said, if you're going into your final year of medicine, you're going to be a doctor at the end of it. And if you don't love your degree by now, then you'll know you're not going to love your job. But for someone like me who was trying to figure out what job they actually wanted or what career path they wanted to go down, I was like pleasantly surprised by the job I'm working in. So I think just keep applying, apply for anything. And then the only thing I definitely focus on, which I didn't put too much emphasis on when I was applying for jobs, is just how well you should get to know the company and the people that are examining you. So I think growing up, we get a lot of external examiners, people who are there to facilitate our exams. And when you go into a job interview, it's quite different, because even though, yes, they're there to facilitate and they have to ask a certain amount of interview questions, at the end of the day, the guy who's interviewing you is probably going to be one of your colleagues whenever you get hired. So he has to be able to look at you and say, yes, I would like to work with him or her. Like I already said, but I really would stress this point, is just apply. Like, apply for any job. If you see a job that seems kind of in your area of expertise, or even a job that says, yeah, we're looking for this degree and you have this degree, yeah, apply for it. The very least you're going to get out of a job interview is experience. Even if you go there and you lose out on a job you didn't even want, you might suddenly think, oh, being there for that assessment day, I actually really like the sound of the company, and it will push you to want to apply for the others. Just use the resources that are available to you. You've got so many recruitment companies that are out there, and that's actually how I got my job. It was through a recruitment company. I just decided to respond to the email one day, and a woman came back to me on the phone and said, oh, I've got a job interview for you, do you want to go for it? And yeah, didn't even know if I'd want to do it, but I thought I'll do it for the experience. And they came back and said, yeah, you can have the job if you want. And so I thought, I enjoyed the interview, and enjoyed the sound of the company, and I enjoyed the career path that it would put me on. So yeah.